What's the haps, guys? I'm Meroka, and welcome to Spiel. Since last time I had a little bit of an update, you can see a little crowning around my portrait in the corner up here. See? Which indicates I'm the party leader. I'm told this is a very important UI update. I'm not sure quite how important. I've never really felt, oh, I must know who's the leader, but hey ho, some people wanted it, I guess. Some people think it's important, I guess. So, for those keeping score, like usual, we're in the Emerald Bishop Tier 3 this week. This is a lot of Emerald Axis and Jigsaw Valley type things. Lots of greenery. I like greenery. Greenery is fun. Right, last week I said... Was it last week? No, in fact it would have been the week before. I mentioned I had an announcement to make on the 1st of May. And I know how I always get called out on things that I say, so I'm now going to go ahead and clarify that I'm not making that announcement anymore. Sorry. I'm sure you're all excited to hear it. I will be making the announcement, just not now, just when I'm good and ready to do so. 'Cause right now, what I'm ready to unveil is not ready to unveil. What I'm wanting to unveil is not ready to unveil. So that might be another couple of weeks. Basically, got a big sort of promo video that needs finishing before I can unveil it. And I'm not making that video. I got another video editor who is part of Button Mash who's working on it, and he's not willing to let me have the footage. I don't know, I guess he's like some sort of actual media type person, not some guy who's been futzing about with Let's Play videos for 8 months and now thinks he's a video editor. So maybe he's more qualified than me. Maybe he's right to say, no, you shouldn't be allowed to edit. All I know is I want to edit. I like editing. I can do it, I promise. So yeah, when he's happy with the video, then I'll be ready to show it off. So I have no say in this. He's a picky man. Also, if you follow me on Twitter, you will may have noticed I announced a live stream on Sunday that we then did, and it was a lot of fun. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you should follow me on Twitter because then you wouldn't miss announcements like that, you silly person. The live stream was, we did Feed the Beast Minecraft. There were 3 of us on the server. It was a lot of fun. I don't think many people saw it, but I think some people definitely dropped in from time to time. That was just kind of fun, just to mess around for an evening. Definitely want to do more of that in the future. I've live streamed before, but not with commentary and definitely not co-op. And it's just a good way to get people involved that otherwise, you know, don't always have the resources to commit to, you know, making videos or anything, but kind of want to get involved. I'm not saying, oh, I'm just bringing members of the public in, because I know that's how some people are going to read that. I mean, other members of Button Mash, other people that I work with say, I'd love to get involved in making videos with you, but it's a lot of time and effort, and I don't really have a computer up to it, so, you know, it's dead simple for me to just stream, get those guys on Skype, and we can just do some stuffs together. So, gonna try and make that more common in the future. We did it on Sunday. Sunday's a very good free day for me. Whether it's a very good free day for everyone, I don't know. Something I'd like to keep up in the future. Whether I'll be Sunday or not remains to be seen. I would say watch this space. And definitely follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description, as it is on all of my videos. So follow me on Twitter and you'll get notified of when I'm doing anything like that. I actually did do a promo video for it so that you would get notified in your video feed, because that's what most of the professionals do. The thing is, most of the professionals don't forget to make the video public. I set it to private and then thought, oh, I'll make it public and publish the video as soon as I start streaming. I completely forgot to do the last step. So the video never went public. I only noticed this after we'd finished streaming some 3.5 hours later. I was like, how come nobody whatsoever has seen my video? You know, it's like 30 seconds long. Someone surely somewhere must have seen it. Like, oh, it's private. Dumbass. That's what I did. That's why no one's seen it. I'll try and get that one right in the future, so then you might actually have a chance of spotting it. However, it is all recorded. I shall in fact start. It might be worth continuing to do this from now on. Actually, I shall start putting links to the Twitch channel in the description as well, so that you can go and catch up there. I mean, Twitch saves all the videos you do, so if you've got, I don't know, 3.5 hours that you want to kill watching me and a couple of my mates derp about with magic and building a exotic indestructible missile silo designed to imprison a god, then yeah, there you go, 3.5 hours worth of content right there for you. Go catch up with it on Twitch. I'm sure that's someone's cup of tea somewhere. Oh yeah, last week I talked about coffee, and I'm sure some of you are dying to have an update, but yeah, the Machu Picchu coffee! I got it, and it's tasty. Well, it is tasty, I'll grant you. It's not as good as I had hoped, though. It smells delicious when you start making it, and then it's, I don't know, I prefer the Mayan Palenque now. So I got a bag of that, but I need to use it Machu Picchu now. I think I said I was less willing to take risks of coffee. I've realised why that is. It's because when I buy a bag of coffee, that's going to last me like 2 months. No one else is using it. I'm only making it for myself. If I buy a bag of coffee, I'm making it for myself at a rate of 1 coffee a day, maybe 2 on very, very extreme circumstances. And the fact is, it's going to be a very long time before I can change brands or blends or coffees at any rate. So like I said, I'm experimental with beer because you have 1 pint, it's gone in under an hour, and you can then try another one if it was awful. You know, with coffee it's like, oh, I got a bad one, I'm drinking this for the next 2 months. So yeah, self-enlightenment. I've realised why I do the things that I do. Quick point that I spotted like just before I started making this video, just like, I'll just check the forums, see if there's anything interesting to note on Spiral Knights. There is! There is, in fact, a sneak peek, well, not really a sneak peek, but mention of, by Nick, upcoming content, which is they're adding new combat mechanics to the game, which sound cool. They'll be adding dashing and shield bashing. The dash mechanic gives you a small boost of speed, as one might very easily imagine. That small boost of speed gives you a tiny bit of invulnerability and lets you either get in or out of combat really quick, and it's got a short cooldown which will appear somewhere on your interface so that you know when you can dash again. So that sounds like that should make combat a little bit more interesting. Any survivability is definitely good for me, because the amount of times I get caught and I'm like, oh, a dash would be great if I could get out of that. Yeah, brilliant. Can't wait to try that one out. The other one is shield bashing. I know we've got shield bump. I can go whoop and everything flies away, but now, I don't know whether the mechanic will just be the same as shield bumping or whether there'll actually be a button. I imagine there'll be a button to do it. But yeah, whichever direction you're facing, if you go boom in an enemy's face, you'll knock them back and slightly stun them, assuming they aren't, you know, absolutely massive, or you miss. It comes at a downside. It will drain some of your shield's charge. The big blue meter up the top there, that will go down a little bit if you use your shield bash. Sorry, not shield bump. They're 2 different things. You can only use it if the meter's full, and yeah, using it drains it slightly. So if you miss, you're suddenly opening yourself up to vulnerability, and if you're attacking a big enemy, you might be biting off more than you can chew. So that's another extra little tactical decision to make, which is neat. It's neat. Should be cool, fun to play around with. I don't think I'm gonna be bashing Vanajuk, but you know. Tell you what, Grievers, they'll probably be pretty nice for fighting Grievers. Just those bloody fast-moving, status-hitting freaks. So this should be out on the test server soon. I've been asked before, why don't I do content on the test server? My answer was, someone else then came up with the answer that you're not actually allowed to show off the content that's on the test server, so That's also a pretty good answer. I'm going to go with that one. Yeah, I'm not allowed to do that, even if I wanted to, and had I bothered to think about doing it, I couldn't. It's all a bit NDA, hush hush stuff. You're not supposed to show off the stuff that's on the test server. Not to mention you gotta actually pay for $10 worth of DLC to actually be able to access it, and nuts to that. No, well, not necessarily DLC, but, you know, energy and stuff. So, last week I had a question. Thank you for this. About time somebody started playing along with me. Thank you for questions. I like that. Gnomza asks, what is your opinion on indie games? What is my opinion on indie games? Seriously? You watch my channel and you need to know my opinion on indie games? The heck, guy? Alright, I'll answer it. It's definitely one I can answer, but jeez, it's like super obvious, I would have imagined. I friggin' love indie games. I love indie games more than anything else. They are wonderful. They are the be-all and end-all of all gaming for me. I volunteered for the Indie Mega Booth at PAX. I wanted to help out indie games for free on my holiday because I love them that much. And I'm just super bored by AAA titles, to be honest. I don't know how, when exactly I got into indie games. Sort of a bit of a transition, I guess, but definitely before they became a in any way particularly big thing. It's kind of nice that they're becoming the norm now, but at the same time it's like it's definitely a good thing for them, for the industry, for all that jazz, but it's lost some of that exclusivity. I don't know, hipsterism maybe, but hey, whatever. So I'm a hipster, so sue me. So yeah, I've probably been into indie games to any significant degree for like something like maybe 3 years now, maybe a little longer. I don't know. A few years back, I guess I sort of I stopped enjoying video games as what was happening. I was like, is this just me getting older? Am I just getting more mature? Am I getting more adult tastes and sensibilities? And oh, I'm not into video games anymore. I'm not into that. Just children's nonsense. Who would play children's games like that? I'm an adult now. No, me. I'm not growing up. Damn it. I'm not ready to grow up just yet. No. It took me a long time to figure out what it was. It took me getting into indie games to figure out what it was. But what it was I was getting bored of playing the same games over and over and over again, because that's all they are, really, as far as the mainstream video gaming thing goes. At some point I must have played some indies. I don't know which one I've thought about this a few times in the past. Well, which indie game was the first one I played? I don't know. The earliest one I can definitely point to and say that was a really early, or probably one of the first ones I played, would have been The More by Twisted Pixel. They made a really cool, kind of vaguely old school, I say old school, like N64 era, not that old school. Well, old school to some of you, and that's a scary thought for me. N64 is old school to some people these days. So yeah, sort of N64 era style platforming game, and it was really cute and charming and cutesy, and the sort of thing that nobody actually even makes anymore, because we're all into the guns and the Calls of Duties and stuff. And I know, it was really cool. I enjoyed it. I don't think that was the first one, but it was definitely one of the first. I don't know. Heyo, we lagging. We lagged. What else? What else was there? Definitely need to fix my hard drive. Can't be having that happening all the time. I need a new hard drive. What else was there? The World of Goo was probably a very early one, actually. Is generally, if you look at the history of indie games, everyone's go, "Oh, World of Goo is one of the first big indie games to take off." And yeah, might well have been one of the first ones I played. Deja Vu stuff was some early stuff I played. No secret, I am a big fan of Deja Vu. I mean, I'm like one of they have been around and indie since 1999, in fact, so 14 years at this stage. I know Ichiro's talked in various panels and stuff on this in the past. That's Ichiro Lam, founder of Deja Vu. Ichiro Lam has talked about this on a few occasions. He said he was indie before indie was a thing, which is like ultimate hipsterdom, but yeah. It's, back then, indie games weren't indie games, they were shareware. It was just a demo that you shared with your friends, and if you liked it, you paid however much to buy the full game. Which, it was word of mouth, that's how these things spread. You put a game on a floppy disk or a CD or what have you, depending on era, and you gave it to your mates, and you're like, guys, check out this game I found, and it spread through word of mouth. There was no marketing, there was no publishers to get your name out there. That's just how it was done, and at some point, shareware has become indie, whatever. Different names, same essential concept, really, at the core of it. And like I say, back then it was sharing, it was word of mouth, and you had to hunt for good stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there, and most of it was probably pretty terrible. I mean, I certainly remember back before Humble Indie Bundle, I mean, Humble Indie Bundle was probably the first thing to make indie in any way kind of readily accessible to mainstream market. It was kind of first big press any of them got, and it was just this really heavily curated collection of stuff, and suddenly it's like, do you want indie games? This is what you should buy. Here you are. Pay whatever the heck you like, and here you go. Here's, was the first bundle 5 games, I guess? 5 really great games. So yeah, people could just go, ooh, being 5 great indie games. Oh, this is cool. I quite like indie games because these are all new and interesting and fantastic things. Before that, you had to hunt for things, and I don't know how the heck I found Deja Vu. I guess, a reckless disregard for gravity. Looked pretty good to me at some point. It must have been in a Steam sale, and I saw this crazy base jumping game, and I was like, ooh, base jumping. That's definitely a new thing. Let's check that one out. And it was awesome! And I became very much a fanboy. Oh, and Wonderful End of the World as well. Those two came bundled together, yeah. Reckless Disregard for Gravity and Wonderful End of the World. And Wonderful End of the World is, if you're not familiar with it, the closest thing you can get to Katamari on the PC, because they never made a Katamari for the PC, which is a terrible shame. But Ichiro is a huge fan of it, so he basically made his own version of the game for PC, just so that there was a version of Katamari for the PC, which is dedication to the series, really, and to being a fanboy of the series, I guess. There's being a fanboy, and then there's recreating the game on another platform because it's not on the platform that you like. What? It's just crazy. I don't know. Could you ever envision a publisher saying yes to that? Now, there's this really quirky and weird Japanese game that I like, and I want to remake the entire concept on a different platform because I'm a big fan of it. You know, you'd be very hard pressed to get that one greenlit. I don't mean Steam greenlit, I mean greenlit by a publisher. Nearly got shot there. Better shoot you. So I guess, yeah, after playing all the titles back then, I was slowly finding more and more stuff. Certainly as far as things like Humble Bundles came out, I very much came to the realization that actually, you know what, I'm playing far more of these than I am the big AAAs, and I'm just not into the AAAs anymore. Thinking back the last few years, there's not many I've played. Not many that I was even remotely interested in, to be quite frank. Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect 1 and 2 I loved. Mass Effect 3, at this point I was like, well, I was excited for it for a while, but by the time it actually came out, I was like, oh, I'm sick of hearing about it. It's the marketing and the hype, and people won't shut up about it. The game's 3 months away, and people won't shut up about it. The game's 2 months away, and people still won't just stop talking. And by the time the game actually comes out, you've heard nothing but talk about this game for the last several months, and you're just like, shut up already, I don't care about the game anymore. I'm sick of hearing about it. there is. Back when Button Mash did some manner of journalism on our main website, link in the description. Go read it. Yeah, I wrote an article pretty much on that very subject about how I was just marketing put me off the game I was really interested in playing because it was literally marketed to death. It was marketed so heavily that I didn't care about it anymore. And I'm finding that with a lot of titles, and it's like, even if I do find myself interested, at one point I was interested in Bioshock Infinite. By the time the game actually came out, meh, I don't really give a damn. It's the same as every other brown shooter out there. And you can argue till the cows come home that, oh no, it's this fantastic, innovative new thing, best game ever made, 10 out of 10, absolute must play. And I hang around in steampunk circles. They're all loving the whole Bioshock thing. Oh, it's so steampunk, it's wonderful. Oh, it's dieselpunk actually, but whatever. Either way, it appeals to the crowd, whether people agree on steampunk or dieselpunk or whatever. They're all loving it, and I was just... Well, I played the first two, they were fun. Call it a new world, call it a new game, call it a new IP. Well, it's not a new IP. Well, it's a new game with the same title designed to shift copies, and at the same time, in one way it is a new game because it's different. It's in a flying city instead of an underwater city and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, it's not really a different game. It's still pretty much the same game. It's a shooter in a brown world with magic powers that give you special abilities to electrocute and set people on fire and stuff like that, and it's more of the same. It's why for the longest time I didn't buy Borderlands 2. I did get talked into it eventually when it was on like ultra cheap, but nonetheless, let's take a pill because I will get killed otherwise. So yeah, okay, Borderlands 2 is probably one of the few AAAs I bought in the last few years, and only then when it came down to like £10 on Green Man Gaming. Let's go down another floor. I fancy carrying on with this. Oh, we might even get a prize room. That'd be awesome. I like prizes. Skyrim as well. I mean, I wasn't super interested in Skyrim to begin with, but by the time it actually came out, oh god, was I sick of hearing about that. I'm not going to be starting on the arrows in the knee. Red Dead Redemption I liked. Red Dead's a good one from the last few years that I liked. I didn't buy it, I played my mate's copy of it, but I did quite enjoy it. Halo... I've talked about Halo before, in fact. Oh, okay, it's a graveyard. Okay, never mind, we like graveyards. Let's put on something that can fight undead. No, not Fang of Vogue. Where are we looking? Voltage, that'll do us. Bink! Let's have some armor as well. Divine Mantle seems like just the job for the occasion. Okay. So yeah, Halo. Halo is another one. I've talked about Halo before. I can't say I don't like Halo. I object to Halo on the grounds that it's on Xbox Live and you get gouged on DLC and you have to pay a £40 a year subscription just to be able to play most of it, and I very much object to it on shoddy business grounds, and I will definitely not be buying any more Microsoft products. But hey ho, that's neither here nor there. It's still a game I enjoy, still a game I want to play, but I'll play my mate's copy and make do with all the limitations of not having the Xbox Live account, I guess. I mean, the problem with all of this, at the end of the day, is the AAA titles cost silly amounts of money. And marketing even sillier amounts of money. I mean, the famous figure for your Call of Duties, was it Modern Warfare 2, I guess it would have been? The popular figure that was cited was it cost 50 million to make, it cost 150 million in marketing. They spent 3 times more on marketing the game than they did on making it. Which tells you all you need to know, really. But either way, when you're spending that kind of money, you can't afford to take a risk, and that's understandable. They've got shareholders to appease, and you can't say, I know we're spending all your money here, guys, but what we're actually going to do here is we're going to make this really silly, crazy cat lady simulator, which is actually what the guys who made Super Meat Boy are currently working on. Like, who would ever approve that, you know? We're talking sort of 50 million on the line. You know, one's going to say, oh, look, we're going to take $50 million and we're going to spend it on making a crazy cat lady simulator. Nobody would give that the okay. Not one person ever. Not for $50 million. But then the guys who made Super Meat Boy, Team Meat, I guess. Are they Team Meat? Yeah, they are. They can pretty much just... They've got their own money, they're risking their own money, and it's their own livelihoods, and it's not even a massive expense for them to make because it's only like a couple of guys. So they can afford to take that risk, so you end up with something really quirky and cool. And like I say, I understand why the big publishers don't do anything interesting, but at the same time, I'm not going to keep buying their stuff if all they're going to do is make the same game for the 5th time. I mean, honest to God, how often is it these days you actually see a title that doesn't have a number after it? It's crazy. Well, a couple of years back, everything had the number 2 after it, and now you're looking at it, it's like, oh, they're all number 3. They've just released all the same games again. Well, I played them once. In some cases, I played them twice. I genuinely don't want more of the same. I guess some people do want more of the same, but I genuinely don't want more of the same. I've played it. I don't want to play it again. It was great the first time. It's not going to be much different the second time around. It's certainly not going to be much different the third time around. Why should I care about it the third time around? Is my attitude to it. And there's lots of people do like, hey, okay, great, more of the same. Woo, we liked it last time, so great, we like it again next time. Well, fair play to you. If you want that, you want that. But where have I been? My sense of direction is... Do we do this room? We did that room. Yeah, like I say, so that some people are quite happy to embrace more of the same because they enjoyed it last time, so they'll enjoy it the second time and third time and fourth time, but... I want a new experience. There are millions and millions of really creative and talented people out there, all with wonderful ideas. Why am I spending all my time going over the same thing over and over again, when I could be experiencing a base jumping simulator, or a crazy cat lady simulator, or what have you? Some quirky, cutesy, chibi, top-down dungeon crawler MMO. Who knows? Not that this is indie, you know, technically this is published by Sega, but I've always felt Spiral Knights felt indie. That was the important bit to me. It isn't a big team, it is quite a small team, and it's clearly made out of a labour of love. These people have made something that they really, really love, and yes, okay, Sega's put up the money to do it, but at the end of the day, I feel like Spiral Knights has the same kind of vibe that I've always got from indie games. And yeah, some indie games you do end up with sequels, and guess what? I don't often buy them either. I mean, actually, a very good case in point, Orcs Must Die. I loved the first one. I played the second one, it was like, yeah, it's more of the same. Why did I buy this? I got stung by the same trap that the AAAs do. Oh, we made a great game, let's make more of the same. People buy more of the same. People did. I did. And guess what? It was awful. If they make an Orcs Must Die 3 because Orcs Must Die 2 worked well, I probably won't buy it this time because I played it twice. It was great the first time. It wasn't as great the second time. And I just certainly don't expect it to be anything phenomenal the third time. Sequels, I hate sequels generally speaking because it just screams a lack of innovation and interest. It's the easy cop-out option. It's how can we make more money without actually doing any real work. whilst I can hardly say I'm the hardest working person in the world, and I want to have to work for every penny, but you know, at the same time, I don't know. I'm not holding myself to the same standards because I'm not in a creative industry, I guess, but it's my money they're trying to earn, so, and they're not going to earn it by doing more of the same. I don't know. I do feel like I'm being a massive hypocrite again, but we've been over that. I am a hypocrite. Haha. Text out my name, Meroka the hypocrite. So yeah, that is enough of my ramblings on the subject of indie games. Indie games, fun, innovative, you even get serious stuff in there, as a matter of fact. Zoe Quinn's Depression Quest dealt with the topic of depression, and in a very, very real, hard-hitting way. That came out a couple months back, I guess, at this stage. Well, that's definitely worth looking at, just for a game that actually has a really serious and important theme. I mean, could you get Activision to fund a game about teaching people about the realities of depression? Not a chance in hell. No. No, you couldn't. And that is ultimately why I like indies. And this is one of those occasions when standing around isn't going to help me, because there are monsters that are going to come after me. So maybe we should wrap it up. So don't forget to like this video if you've enjoyed hearing me ramble about indies, and click the little subscribe button down below if you're not already subscribed, because I do videos 5 days a week and possibly some live streaming as well in the near future. So stay tuned to check all of that out. Don't forget to leave me any more questions you have in the comments, because that's great. I like being able to talk about things that you want me to talk about. So please go ahead and do that. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.